Hey, how's everyone doing? My name is Tyrell, and today I took my NASM personal training certification test, and I walked out of there with a pass, y'all, pass. So I wanted to make a video to help other people. I know when I watched other people's video, it really helped me kind of narrow down what I really needed to study for and kind of really helped me pass. So I did read every chapter. I just, I think I started my journey with the NASM in October of last year of 2019, and now it is now February. So October, November, December, January, February. So it took me about 4 months. I definitely took my time. I was still doing other things, so I couldn't put all of my focus on just doing the NASM. So I stretched it out. I usually did about a module a week, which I wouldn't suggest, but it was just at the time I was at, the timing that I did have. So I took about a module a week, a chapter a week, and I think it's like 20 or so chapters. So I read all the way throughout the chapters, and I took the quizzes after each chapter. That was, I guess it was okay. I think it's very good to understand and learn the knowledge so that you can actually utilize it. That's one thing I kind of learned from like going to college. It's like it is people who's good at taking tests and they can just take a test and pass the test, but then they don't know any of the knowledge. That's not what I wanted to do. So that's why I took a longer period of time to actually like engulf myself in each chapter so I can really have a good foundation and understanding of everything that I learned. That way, when I do implement it with my clients, I'm able to really have a great understanding of, what I was taught and how I can implement it. So I end up reading every chapter. And like I said, it worked pretty good. I think the main things that were successful for me were taking the end of chapter test. That was definitely very successful. I took that about 6 times, and my last few attempts, I scored like a 93, 92. I was in that range my last 3 attempts. So what that was telling me was like I was becoming very familiar with the knowledge. And I will say a lot of the questions on the practice exam is on the real exam. Now what they do on the actual exam is they do word it a little bit different, and sometimes they will try to trick you. So it's very important when you're taking the test to take your time to read through everything. It was one question on there that I know that I had got from my practicing exam. It said, if you are dehydrated, what of these things can happen? And the answer was it will increase your heart rate. But on the actual exam, it asked me that same thing, but it said decrease your heart rate this time. So it was little tricks like that if you would have just hurry up and clicked on it and not even thought about it, you would have got it wrong if you didn't really read. So that was one thing that I would definitely say is read through every question. Make sure you're fully understanding what they're asking, and then answer. They do, of course, like everybody says, they do ask a lot of questions about the over and active muscles. It was a few videos that helped me learn the muscles, helped me learn the over and active muscles. I will drop them in my description. But one thing that really helped me with the over and active muscles and like the knees turning inward, the feet turning outward, the shoulders leaning forward, the anterior pelvic tilt, all that stuff, what really helped me was actually like doing it myself and actually thinking about it. Like say for example, if you squat, right? If you're squatting and your knees move inward, right? if you push your knees out and you push again, like you have some type of force. So say for example, if you have like a resistance band around your knees and you force them to go out, you will feel that in your gluteus. So I knew that if my muscles were going in, if my knees were going in, then it was my gluteus maximus was I believe underactive, and my abductors were tight. So pretty much, like really thinking about what it is they're asking you and actually kind of replicating it with yourself and with your clients, it really helps you kind of conceptualize the different things that you kind of need to know about, like the anterior pelvic tilt and the knees moving in, knees moving out, feet moving in, the shoulders coming down. So all those things you will kind of become better at those things if you like actually practice them, and then if you actually know the muscles that's in the area. Now, I didn't get the results of like how many I missed or how many I got right, or what I got right and what I got wrong. But one thing I will say that I feel like helped me is, even if I didn't know specifically what it was, it helped me to know what muscles was around whatever it was saying. So for example, if it was talking about the feet, I automatically was like, gotta be the gastrocnemius, gotta be those calves. So it helps to know the muscles, know what muscle groups are around. Or like, for example, the pulling assessment. If the back arches or, things like that, you at least well, the trapezoids, the deltoids, the latimus dorsi, those are in that area. So you kind of can say, okay, it has to be one of those type of muscles, So I feel like it definitely helps knowing the muscles. You definitely want to study, the in and the out of the knees and the feet. They asked a few questions about the stages of change. So you definitely kind of want to know, if a person is working out consistently and they're thinking about if they're working out but they're not working out consistently and they're thinking about starting to work out, what stage are they in? So you want to know the different stages of change. They asked me about fat, how many carbs was in fat. So you definitely want to know that. You definitely want to know the rep range. They definitely asked about the rep range. They asked how many reps should you do in this? How many reps should you do in this phase? How many, so you definitely want to know the reps and sets and the tempo. They asked me about the tempo. Yes, and you also want to know the specific exercises for specific phases. So you want to know, in the balance phase, you want to do this. In the balance phase, you want to do that. This is a good phase this is a good exercise for people who are pregnant. This is a good exercise for people who have hypertension. So you want to know those type of things also. And what else? Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all I can kind of think about right now. Yeah, so it honestly, people, I'm gonna let you know, it was not hard. Like the night before, yesterday night, I could not sleep. Like the test said, I could not sleep. I actually had a dream that I was late for my exam. And I woke up in the middle of the night. I was like, no! I got scared. My girlfriend was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm late. And she was like, no, you're not. Go back to sleep. And I couldn't go back to sleep, so I ended up just coming in here to study. But some tips that I would tell you ending, definitely look at the study guide. The study guide really helped me out. When I was actually taking the test, I looked at the study guide the morning of, and when I was actually taking the test, it was certain things that like, oh, I just seen that from the study guide. So that definitely helped me out. Definitely take the test at the end. That definitely helped me out. Also, the test at the end definitely helped me. And something else I just thought about, definitely know flexibility. Definitely know about like corrective flexibility, when you want to use different flexibility, what phases. Definitely know autogenic inhibition, and when to use when does autogenic inhibition when is it used? So like phase 1, static stretching. So you want to know that. And you also want to know reciprocal inhibition. You want to know when that's used. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much like really all I can think of. They didn't really ask a lot about like the nervous system and stuff like that. I did get a question about the heart. They asked me where does the heart lead from, I think, and it was like it gave you like left ventricle, right ventricle, left atrium, right atrium. So you kind of want to know a little bit about the heart. But other than that, don't get so scared about it. Don't worry yourself so much about it. It's really not that difficult. If you know a lot about like exercising already, if you have a like foundation in exercising as far as like knowing like sets, range, like knowing about different the different like split set, single set, like if you know those things, you really won't have a lot to worry about. Yeah, so I don't think it was really that hard, honestly. And I don't think it's something that you should really worry too much about. But definitely what I would do is I would definitely, like I said, I would look at the end of chapter test. I would definitely take the final test at the end. I took it like 5 or 6 times. So I would definitely take that a few times because it is a lot of questions from there on the test. I would definitely listen to the webinars and videos. Those were really good, the webinars and videos. The guy broke it down way better than I felt like the book did. Maybe just because he taught it, but it definitely helped me out. So I would definitely look at those. And I would definitely look at that study guide. What I would do is I would print out that study guide, and as I'm reading, I will highlight things that I might need to work on. That's something else that I did. After I took the test, I seen what questions that I was having trouble with. Most of the questions that I was having trouble with was the over and active muscles. So that's what I focused on. I focused on knowing the over and active muscles, knowing the lateral and anterior view. That's something else that they will ask you is like on the frontal plane if you're doing this. So you want to know about the frontal and the sagittal and the different planes, and what exercises. And you also want to know those words. Like this is something that was kind of tough for me, like inversion, flexion. So you want to know those. They asked about sprinting also, so you want to know the dorsiflex in the foot, so you want to know stuff like that. But all in all, like I said, it really wasn't difficult. When you do take the test, one thing I will say, like I said, is definitely focus on everything that they are asking you. Don't just think that you know it already and go to the answer, because it is a few trick questions in there. So definitely focus on that. I actually finished the test pretty quickly, so I actually went back to the beginning and looked at my answers, and it was a few answers that I switched, and it also was a few answers that actually told the answers for something else. For example, it asks if you had a beginning client, how should you start them stretching? And it had 2 options. It said, well, the 2 options that I knew were either right or wrong. It said start them off with static stretching and then go into the rolling, the self-myofascial rolling, or SM, whatever it's called. Yeah, so that, those were it said either static stretching first or the rolling first. it had two options: the static stretching, rolling, or rolling then static stretching. And on another question, it asks something similar, but the rolling was first. So that pretty much told me that you roll first, then you stretch. So I had got a little confused, so I went back and changed it. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure what I got right, what I got wrong, but one thing I will say that I got is a passing score. So that's all that matters. So I hope this video really helped you. I will leave some descriptions, those videos that I was telling you about in the description. It was another girl on here who really helped me out. I will leave a comment to her video underneath. She told me about the poke muscle game. That was really helpful. I would leave that below. Also, I also listened to this guy, and it was like a really old video, honestly, about the overhead stretching. I mean the overhead assessment. I think I kind of worried about that a little bit too much. It really wasn't a lot about that. And honestly, they didn't really go too in depth into it like I thought they would. They kind of asked like some surface level questions about it. So I wouldn't get too worried and scared about if you don't know every overactive muscle and every underactive muscle. I wouldn't really worry too much about that. But I will drop that link to that video. He kind of helped me out with a few things about abduction and abduction, kind of understanding a little bit more about that. So I'll drop those below. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Like and subscribe, and definitely turn on your bell notification, because I will be dropping a lot more videos just about exercising in general, about how to get rack hard abs, and all that good stuff. So be on the lookout for that.